Hey guys, I'm here in the Builder's Corner and I'm getting ready to restart or redo the control box project. There were a few things that went wrong with the original build that I was not happy with, and after riding around for a little while and allowing it to take a little beating with bumps on the road and rough riding, I found some things that weren't pleasing and things that needed to be fixed in order for this box to be a perfect build for retail or resale. So that's what's going on. Let me go ahead and show you what I found, and then I'll show you what it is that I plan to do differently with this next build to alleviate the issues that I had with the first one. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Cruiser Racer channel. I'm Rebel Lion of the Electron Rebels, and this is my creative space. I call it the Builder's Corner. The Builder's Corner is the home for electric bike enthusiasts. And in this space, we're always on the hunt for the perfect canvas. A canvas for me is a bike frame. Nothing excites me more than turning something old into something new. So if this appeals to you, and you like what we like too, then subscribe to this channel. Here in the Builder's Corner, you'll learn about bike mechanics and DIY custom e-bike builds. Now, let's get to the show. So we're here with the top tube where the box sits. And I'm not sure if you can tell, but in here is where the problem began. So what I found was the glue that I originally used to hold all this together was not holding, and the inside of the box, which sits on the tube, started to crumble, and it wasn't holding properly. I didn't show it, but a few days ago I took this whole thing apart and started nailing it together just so I can hold it until I got the new material to rebuild this whole thing. But yeah, the inside of it completely fell apart on me, and it was not holding at all on the inside. So that was the first problem that I found. Second problem is the lid. The lid on it causes it to not have a perfect square. It slants, and you can tell from here how this main part it slants in, and then the side pieces overlap. So the lid was definitely one of the things that was not pleasing. Here it is right here as well, overlapping the actual box, not giving it the perfect square that I needed. I didn't have what I wanted before to make this more of a door. Therefore, that's why I just used the screws. But having to go into it a few times was annoying, and that's not something that I would want a buyer to have to go through. So instead of doing a screwed lid, I am going to actually give it a hinge and a lock to make it a door. All right, the other really annoying part of the build was the way that the box mounts on the top tube. Originally, I had pieces of inner tube that I wrapped around the bar here. Yeah, here, to make it so that it was a tighter fit for the alleyway to sit on top, and it just didn't work out very well. The box still easily spins around, which we don't want when riding. It needs to be tighter. It needs to sit on here tightly so that it doesn't move around when riding. So that was another thing. The quick fix that I used again was instead of wrapping the inner tube around the bar, I just put it on the inside of this groove here so that it would work a little better. But that was just a quick fix until I got all the parts necessary to make this perfectly. So let's get into what I'm going to do differently this time. Okay, so here are all my parts that I plan to work with right now. And we'll start with the PVC. So the original PVC that I used was a 1/4 inch thick 12 by 12. And it was white. This PVC is black, obviously, and it's a 1/2 inch width or thick, and it is still 12 by 12. I can work with that, but you know, the biggest thing is that it's going to be a 1/2 inch. So the 1/4 inch I couldn't get any screws in because it was just too thin of board, and this one I can get screws in to put all this all together without needing any glue. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, like I said, I'm going to attach a hinge for the door on it. Yeah, I'm going to attach a hinge for the door, and then I'm also going to use a lock and key for the box instead. This here adhesive foam strips, so it's not as thick as I thought it would be, but I can definitely see it giving it better cushion on that you know, on the alleyway part of the box where it will sit on top of the top tube, and it's definitely got more I say grip on it. Yeah, so these will be thin enough to be able to screw into the board, you know, without popping out on either side, which was the problem that I was having with the 1/4 inch and the nails. So this will work just fine. And then I also have this double-sided tape, which I'm going to need to remount the alarm on the inside of the box because the original tape won't be any good. But this has some good amount of thickness, so that if I need this tape to help further cushion the inside of the groove, or the part that mounts on top of the top tube, I could use this as well to give me some more cushion so that it sits on there firmly. All right, guys, so I've been at this for around about an hour now, and I've got the base about done, put together. I've got the pieces cut for that, and I'm moving at this pretty slowly because I don't want to make any mistakes. Again, I only got so much limited material, and I don't want to mess up any parts and not be able to use as much as I possibly can. So I'll show you the base that's done so far. After that, I'm going to start working on the side walls of this case, and then the 2 end pieces after that, and then the lid will be last. So take a look. All right, so like our last model, I've got the 2 bottom parts ready to go to alleyways, I'll call them. This is where the cords will come and feed through freely, and then this here is the base of where it will go on top of the top tube. So I got that ready to go. I just need to put in the rest of the screws, and you know, it's working out real well. Nothing's busting out, no screws are coming out the other side, and this is definitely the perfect size for the PVC sheets that I need. The 1/2 inch is definitely a perfect size. It's just thicker, as I said, so I kind of worry about the weight factor. Hopefully it doesn't come out heavy. Of course, it's not going to be as heavy as wood, but you know, I would like it to be as light as possible. So that's where we are. I'm going to keep working and getting this done, and then I'll check back in when I've got more progress. Here we are. This is what it looks like so far. And I think the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and start lining the foam on the inside so that I can make sure that I get a good fit for this before I construct the rest of it. So that's what I'm going to work on next. All right, so as I said, I've got this foam, this lined foam that I feel like would definitely grip the handle or the down tube properly. The original idea I was going to go with was to put this stuff around the down tube, but I don't want to do that if I can just put it on the inside, line the inside, and see how that would work first. So that's going to be my first attempt, is to line the inside with the foam, but I also feel like it's not going to be thick enough to grip the bar or the down tube, or the top tube. So I'm going to give it some of this double-sided tape first, and then I'm gonna go and line it with this stuff next. All right, so I'm very happy with the way that works out. The lining looks pretty decent on the inside. The most important part is how it grips on the top tube. It is perfect, I think. It doesn't spin out of control. It doesn't move too much. It sits nicely on top with a nice grip. So the foam part worked for sure. Now I'm going to go ahead and finish constructing the side walls for this. And then, of course, the two back walls, the front and the rear wall, and then the lid. And that project will be done. All right, let's get to it. So here we are with the build so far. I would love to say everything works out perfectly, but it does not always work out perfectly. So the issue, the box wants to slant slightly, and luckily it's on a bar and it's on a tube and it won't show as badly. But what I have to do is kind of deform the way, or slant the way I cut this, because the middle part here, this alley for the tube, it didn't measure out perfectly with the cuts. So even by hand it's a bit challenging, but it's better than using a power tool. So I got a bit of a slant here so that it matches and goes on perfect. It will screw in without a big gap here at the bottom, and that's okay for this side. But for the other side here, I'm gonna have to deal with that. Now this here is already cut in a way that it's a little small. It's definitely right size for the way the lid needs to sit on. But I'm afraid that if I cut it a bit more for the slant, it's gonna be too small. I may have to cut another piece for that. So that's where this is at now so far. I'm going to go ahead and tighten in this piece here because it works out fine for this side, and then deal with the other side later or afterwards. All right, so the box is done. I finished the box last night or this morning, and did quite a few different things for it. And I gotta say that I'm definitely happy with the way things worked out. Definitely a few things I learned along the way in the process of building, especially with the thicker PVC, the 1/2-inch PVC boards. All things that I can take into the next build. But all in all, the way that I went with building this one worked out so much better. I mean, as you saw, the foam that I used to line the part that sits on top of the top tube, so much better. I didn't have to add anything else. I didn't have to put anything on the actual top tube. All I had to do was line the box, and it fits right on there, just so snug. It's perfect. So that worked out better. The thicker PVC worked out for a more sturdy build. And then the door that I put on it, for the door and the lock that I put on now for the inside of the box, perfect. So let me go ahead and show you, and then I'm gonna go for a ride and make sure everything's copacetic and it's ready. Right, so there's the box, looking good. Now, one thing, I don't know if you'll notice, but the box is a little bigger. It's about an inch taller than the last box, and I did that for a very good reason. So let me get into why. So let me open the box up and show you what it looks like on the inside. Here we are. It was the inside of the box. So instead of screwing this in like I did on the other one, there's no screws on the side now. This one is now, I put two-sided tape on it, and so it's sticking just right, just like the two-sided tape here on the alarm. So that big roll of two-sided tape, it really came in handy. I use it quite a bit for this box. So now I'm able to put the tools in, which used to be here on the seat tube. So now I'm able to put the tools inside because I can unlock it now. Here's the pump. The pump doesn't fit snug like it did before, mainly because, well, the walls are thicker. It's it's 1/2 inch instead of 1/4 inch, but yet it still fits. And of course, the crescent wrench is inside. So we got those things in. You can't really tell here. Maybe you can, but I lined this with the foam that I used to line the alley, or the section that goes on top of the top tube. So yeah, I lined the inside to make it a little bit more cushion, and also so that the tools and stuff don't slip around while they're on the inside of the box. So yeah, that's another thing that happened. I wish I could do more with the wires, but they're a bit short, and I really can't figure out what else to do with these wires. I mean, other than that, they're fine. The reason why I made it a little taller was so that when you are somewhere, you park the bike, you're now able to put the speaker and the phone case inside as well. There's a lot of opportunists where I live who love stealing things off bikes. So I thought that it would be better if you were able to stow your devices inside now instead of, leaving them out. So that's why I did it, And there's a way. It's a bunch of maneuvering. That's why I'm gonna have to get these. Definitely gonna have to get these wires handling a little better. But yeah, now you can throw that inside, and then the phone case here. Yeah, now you can put all that inside securely and let it be. Definitely secure the bike a little better. So I mean, it worked out. I like this box. Now I'm gonna go check to make sure it ain't too bulky for riding with, and we'll see what happens. So let's head out. Well, that's gonna wrap up this episode of the Builder's Corner. If you enjoyed this episode and it was educational to you, please show us by giving us a thumbs up. If you're a builder as well, this is a great show to learn and gather ideas for your projects. Please join us on Mondays for new episodes of Bike Talk. There's always interesting news about e-bike technology and the emerging industry, so subscribe to the channel. I look forward to seeing you on Monday. Have a great weekend. Until then, stay safe and ride easy. If you'd like to be part of our purpose, mission, and our journey, please consider becoming part of the Electron Rebels Bike Club. You can find links to the club in the description below. Ride easy.